The thunder that was not thunder. On the morning of July 25, 1944, a distant rumble rolled over Normandy. It grew until it was not weather. It was the sky itself arriving. More than 1,500 American bombers unloaded 4,000 tons of explosives on a 7-kilometer front. A German soldier stopped counting after 300 planes. In 40 minutes, the Panzer Lehr division ceased to exist as a fighting force. The Bocage stalemate cracked open. This matters because it shows how overwhelming air and artillery power erased a defensive line in a single morning and set in motion everything that followed. 7. The Moonscape Aftermath. When the smoke lifted, the landscape looked lunar. Tanks flipped on their sides. Men dug out of foxholes who could not speak and could not understand orders. One survivor said the nearby bombs did not sound like explosions. They felt like the air itself punched through his chest. After the third wave, he heard nothing. That silence terrified him more than the noise. This matters because it reveals the invisible damage that destroys an army even when bodies still breathe. Combat power was gone long before the retreat began. 6. Doctrine without fuel. German commanders knew how to break encirclements, keep a corridor open, mass mobile forces, strike for the weak seam. But by late July, their maps lied. Orders arrived that did not match reality. Tanks needed fuel that did not exist. Patton raced across Brittany, then south, then east, faster than German headquarters could plot. This matters because doctrine without logistics is a ritual without meaning. An army that cannot move cannot use its experience. 5. Mortain's wall of noise. Hitler ordered a counterstroke west. 4 panzer divisions drove toward the coast. The intent was simple: cut Patton off. But Allied fighter bombers roamed every daylight hour, and the American 30th Infantry Division was told to hold the ridge at Mortain. They did. One soldier said the noise came from 3 directions at once and never stopped. By staying, they turned the counterattack into a deeper trap. This matters because the failed thrust pushed German armor farther into the pocket that would soon close. 4. The stop at Argentan. By August 12th, the jaws were almost shut. American forces reached Argentan. Canadians pushed south from Falaise. The gap was 12 miles. Patton wanted to close it. Bradley ordered a halt to avoid a broken neck. A pilot later radioed that the whole German army was moving through the gap. This matters because a cautious choice left the door ajar just long enough for thousands to escape, and historians still argue about that pause. 3. The corridor of flies. Inside the pocket, the road east became a nightmare. Vehicles burned and were shoved aside. Horses dead in the traces. Wounded men lying beside the dead because no one could stop. Typhoon pilots fired rockets, then raked the packed column with cannon until their ammunition was gone. The August heat turned the air thick. Soldiers wrote that the flies were so dense the bodies seemed to move. This matters because air power and artillery did not just harass, they transformed a retreat into one of the greatest killing grounds of the war. 2. The Mace on Hill 262. The Polish 1st Armored under General Maczek fought since 1939. A wrong turn placed a battle group on Montormel Ridge, the high ground directly above the escape road. 1,500 Poles dug in, cut off on a hill surrounded by the remnants of 20 divisions. German tanks attacked from east and west. The Poles fired until their ammunition ran low. They called for resupply and relief, and neither came. They kept firing. Canadians finally broke through on August 21st. The Poles lost hundreds of men and tanks. The Germans lost tanks, men, and time they could not spare. This matters because a handful held the cork in the bottle and throttled an army. 1. The 12 miles that cost 6 months. Between 20 and 50,000 Germans slipped through the gap. Many were the best survivors of the SS divisions and veteran army units. They reappeared at Arnhem in September and in the Ardennes in December, leading new recruits with a hard patience learned in the corridor, where impatience killed you. The war in the West dragged on until May. The debate over Argentan never ends. The hill that held nearly shut the door. The 12 miles left it almost open. This matters because the pocket was the trap that almost worked, and the difference between almost and finished was measured in miles, in nights of fighting on a ridge, and in men who walked out to fight again. In the end, the Falaise pocket was a collapse managed in real time, a battlefield where maps lost meaning, and a country lane in Normandy became a reckoning. The thunder that was no.